to rectify it as quick as we can, as cheap as we can, to little or no cost to the people that are affected. That's our goal. What happens is going to be what's available to us through the state and federal government, whether Margaret can help, the DEQ can help. It's going to be a team effort, but it's all going to be transparent. When we know, you'll know. So I guess that's how I wanted to respond to that. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
One more, and then I'm
Yeah, I've been to several of these meetings when you've had maybe 3 or 4 people that live in Cooper Township, as big as it is, come and sit in the meetings.
Absolutely.
This is what we should have every month. Not only when something like this comes up, whether it's this or anything else. When they get upset, oh, we better get to the meeting. That's the only time you'll see them all year long. This needs to happen every month.
I agree.
Thank you. We all agree. We invite it.
And more.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to request to combine lots on at 1870 Roosevelt. Again, this is a housekeeping issue for combining lots in a plat that this board has to approve. Our assessor has looked at the information and our planner as well, and the combination has been paid for. So I need a motion to approve this combination for the lots at 1870 Roosevelt.
I make that motion.
Support.
Made and supported. Discussion from the board. Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye. Aye. Nays the same. Motion carries. Item 10 this evening, in your packet, you'll see that we have exhausted our funds of $8,000 for the Household Hazardous Waste Program. This year, it does not mean people cannot use it. There's a small...
Not quite exhausted yet.
Not quite exhausted yet, exactly. But they always send us a letter to see if we want to add more to our budget, and I know that our solid waste budget has been very tight with the recycling and the household and the curbside spring and fall bulk trash pickups, and along with this, this is what we can afford to do. And I know last year that we did run out, I think, in the 1st of December funds, and the choice to our residents is pay a small fee if you have a small amount of household hazardous waste to the collection center. You can still use it, or wait till January 1, and our budget gets renewed again and can be used at no charge.
So Jeff, this is a good time for a discussion of this, because as a board, we've talked, this came many times up, and they're not going to hold costs down if people just keep giving them checks, if we keep paying more. But I think last year we discussed the fact that if people combine trips, your neighbor's got stuff and you're all going together on that, it counts as one trip, the way that it was explained to me by Jennifer or the person that was here. So, I mean, we spoke, and Carol was a big voice in this last year of just holding to the $8,000 we spend and keeping cost in line.
And the letter does say that it's $7 for the trip plus the cost of disposal per pound. So if they do go in together, the cost goes up exponentially.
So when we pay the yearly fee on that, is that how it's broke down also? Because I
No,
don't remember any
what they do is they bill us quarterly
right
for the use.
for visits, right? I
For
mean, I never
visits
heard
and disposal costs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all together. It's all, and I can give you those. That's what we pay every year. Yes.
Creeping up on 8,000.
used to be 5.
Yes.
We were 5,000 for a long time.
I would say we don't go beyond 8,000.
Well,
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Well, I think as well, we're not totally exhausted yet, and usually when fall comes around, it's usually spring is our big take on that, or every once in a while, somebody will pass and they'll pass away, and family comes in to clean a house, and there's 20 gallons of paint or lead-based paint in the basement, and becomes a big number for.
Take it on Lamont Street, they'll take it for nothing.
That's it.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about right now. We pay for that.
But it's not nothing.
It isn't a cost.
I've never paid a dime.
Right.
What we do as a township, we pay $8,000 to them a year, so you can take it there for nothing. and we were exhausting that $8,000.
Nothing's free. Nothing's free.
Sorry, Martin.
I thought they were glad to have me.
They are, man, very glad. Trust me, they are. Yes, they are.
Pretty cool around it.
I know I go twice a year.
Yep, I don't have those numbers, Marilyn, right at my hand, but actually there is a report that I can get you that I get quarterly, and,
I don't need to
no.
know. I'm wondering, you
but,
know.
right, but no, it is used, we're probably the fifth largest municipality that uses it,
Oh, really?
yes, throughout the county.
But very, very few people, considering the population of the township, actually use it.
Right.
It's a lot of repetition usage, and some people never use it.
So I guess what I would look from this board is a motion to, whatever the board's pleasure is keeping it at the $8,000 and moving on again for next year.
I'll make that motion that we keep it at $8,000.
Support that. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify with aye.
Aye.
Nays, nay. Motion carries. Item 11 on our agenda this evening is the approval to levy the following on the 2018 winter tax bill. And this is nothing new. This is what is done every year at this point in time. It would be to levy, and I'll go through A through F, levy a 1% property tax admin fee and 3% penalty, and waive the penalty for senior citizens. Levy the .8526 for township tax. Levy $42.78 per household for collection, disposal, and recycling of solid waste. That is where the $8,000 comes out of, along with paying for the curbside recycling and the curbside pickup. Levy the .5800 mils per thousand for streetlight district. That is the same. Levy Collingwood and G Avenue, Riverview Industrial, Henshaw, Moffett sewer, and levy liens for cleanup and mowing and delinquent special assessments on the tax roll, and to reaffirm our investment policy. This will be by roll call vote. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion made and supported. Any discussion from the board on? Hearing none. Mr. Bleedstra.
Yes.
Mr. Frederick.
Yes?
Mrs. Jansen.
Yeah.
Mr. Sorensen, yes. Mr. Scheidel.
Yes.
And Ms. Bicycle.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. We move to our second page, and it's almost done. Here is roads discussion. Jim, you had.
Yeah, usually, and I won't bring everything up because we've had a long meeting tonight, and I just had a list of road projects. We can discuss those in October.
Okay.
Maybe be a little less, but I did have a question on the Riverview Drive project with the road commission next year. The sewer project was started out because we were going to open the road, we were going to piggyback with them, put the project down it. So do you know if the road commission is still online to do the 2019 project? And if so, wouldn't it, not a great time for discussion, long meeting, but would it behoove us to put a pipe in while it's open, or?
That discussion we will have within the next 30 days, yes.
Because it's money well spent, it's always going to be used, but, okay.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, thanks.
No, it definitely is, it's on our minds. I mean, I hate to,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we'll have more discussion on that and probably have our meeting next month. We'll have more in-depth on it, we'll have more information.
And I just had a few road projects here that for the board to look at, discuss, they can drive around, look at them. So I'll try to get each one of you some, the roads so you can drive and look at them and see what you think.
In talking about roads, I know that Laura here was at our last meeting and had asked me to put in a request for a work order for gravel at the end of her driveway. She's handicapped and has a driveway that has quite a drop and lost a lot of her gravel at the top of her driveway. And she told me today that her backup alarm goes off on her car because of when she tries to back out of her driveway. But I tell you, I'm sure.
Yes, it is.
I guess what I ask too is anybody that asks for a work order with the road commission, it hasn't been a great working relationship with them in the last couple of years, whether it be the road projects the way we want to fix or service requests, removing or cutting trees, all sorts of those things. I will always either respond by usually an email, or if it's something in emergency, I can I can text one of the road supervisors. But if you've got something, let me know, but it also helps if you also call in as well. I'm not trying to shirk the responsibility, I'm happy to do it, or anybody in this office, Deanna or anybody else is willing to do that, but it does help. The squeaky wheel sometimes gets more grease, so.
And they actually say emails are your better effect because they're a permanent document.
And they always,
More time now.
Phone calls, I don't necessarily see
right,
the
I
result of
think,
that.
right, and I know not all of you may have the email or internet service, but yeah, that's why I'm happy to do it for everyone, but it gets an automatic response once it gets in there, so that you have not only your complaint or your service request, but you get their response to it and what that response is. But it hasn't been very timely for your place, because that's been over a month. So, and every time it rains, it gets worse for her, so. But anyway, I just wanted to make that
A
note.
little point with that, don't forget the road commission is governed by 5 commissioners. You can get on their website and get one of their numbers, and they will say if they work with Cooper, Waukesha, Climax, whatever township, utilize them also, because they get a stipend per year to do their job, to make sure the road commission does their job.
And there are 2 commissioners on there that live in Cooper.
There is, so it gotta be active, it's a shame, I'm embarrassed by it, but it's not what it used to be.
Thank you. Item 13 this evening is discussion. We have a long-term employee that, Julie Muller, that is a awesome employee. She's been here a long time. She knows the ins and outs and pretty much of everything in the office. And she came in a little over a week ago and sat down with Deanna, Carol, and myself that she has a family issue that's coming up with an elderly family member that she may end up having to take care of. She thought she may have to turn in her resignation. And we asked her if she would please request a leave of absence. I believe it's up to 90 days. And I would ask this board that they give myself
And simply because we don't know, I mean,
Right.
she might start caring for this person and the situation might change. And she would have been given up her job for,
Right.
very short term, so.
Yeah, I think what we would like this board to do is to give us the authority in the office to grant her up to a 90 days leave of absence, and then
Smart way to do it.
absolutely, I mean, I hate to lose her, she's a wealth of knowledge, and also during that time that she does take her leave, we're going to be talking with the temp service to get a temporary person in here that she can bring up to speed as much as she can, at least for the day-to-day operations of the office and so forth. So if you would give us permission to do that, or make a motion and give us permission to do that, we would be most appreciative, and it'd be definitely in the benefit of not only the way the office is run, but anybody who comes into the office.
Will I make that a motion?
Thank you, Bob.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Any more discussion?
She
Yes.
is also the deputy, to it.
No.
No?
She assists him.
She assists him.
Yeah, she-
Yeah, oh
she
yeah,
works
to
with
Kim,
the
you said, I
assessing.
thought you meant to Deanna, no.
Assessing and
She
building.
works for
Yes, assessing and building.
The planning and zoning and building, and she helps with the top counter and other things.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Kind of everywhere.
She does it all.
In her ordinance job from many years ago, so
Absolutely.
she's been valuable.
She's done all aspects of the job, yes, she has.
Oh, I hope you can fill that bill.
Okay, so we do have a motion, we had support. Any more discussion or questions? All in favor of the motion signify with aye. Aye. Nays, nay. Motion carries. Are there any trustees that have any comments? Mr. Belitstra?
Well, just thanks for the picture that we gave you all in the hospital.
And thank you for being here and helping out. James?
I want to say thank you. I'm getting kind of thankful at times over us, but what I saw with the city commission and the problems that they have and the way that that board, namely one board member, acted out, I'm thankful to have a board and a professional staff, let's not forget about our attorney, that works well and has each other's back. You spoke about the sewer project. We were all in that boat together, and we determined what route to take, and certainly I support you in the comments you made. But seeing what went on with the city commission a week ago and the way that board member lashed out at her board members, not administration, at her board members, I was embarrassed, and I reached out to a couple of Kalamazoo city commissioners just to tell them what a good job I think they're doing, and their hands are tied there. So I just want to say I'm thankful to have a good board where we all work together, and if we disagree with one another, we do it in a respectable manner without standing up and swearing at each other. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Got a doggone you.
Yeah, doggone, it's a good one, Bob, but I don't think she said that. Because it didn't make the paper.
Deanna, any comments?
I just wanted to make the comment that we did hear from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and our insurance rates are staying surprisingly low. They're going up 1.67%, which is crazy. They're only going up that much, so yay for next year at least.
Bob, anything?
I know.
No, I'm pretty well happy.
I do. I know sometimes it looks like we may not be doing anything, but behind the scenes, especially since this water situation hit the fan, the Thursday night it hit, the next day, we were all beating the streets in Parchment, I should say in the water district, to make sure everybody knew. And we ran into people that hadn't heard the announcement that it was going on. And ever since then, with all the technical factors and the environmental factors, we need to leave it to the people that need to take care of those kind of things. So if you ever talk to us and say, well, what are you doing, or where are we at? And we say, well, we know this much, other than that, we're waiting. It's not that they don't want to know, it's because maybe the people were waiting for the information, like you're finding out tonight, don't know, so why would we know? And as far as not being active, as a trustee, I'm not always trustee, two trustees at the other end. You don't always see us if you show up in the office. But the reason why I even ran for an office over 25 years ago was I found out that, again, an environmental situation was breathing down our neck. And maybe some of you don't even remember this or didn't even live in the township at the time. Somebody wanted to come put a landfill. And I said, and they accused me of moving away from across the street from where it was going to be put, or chose to be sited. And I said, what? I heard nothing about it. So, okay, hit the ground running, run for office. We, over the period of years, had fought off 3 attempts at siting landfills in our township, of which 2 of them, I practically lived in the process of trying to stop it and help guide the 3rd group of people to stop the 3rd one. So not because we were accused of being NIMBYs, and I'm fine with that. At this point, with the way our township is blessed or cursed with gravel and water, we are no place to put a landfill. So we were the first township in the county to site a drop-off recycling center right down here. I don't know, is the old sign still up there? I don't know, I go past it all the time. And it got to the point where it got, more and more people around the county were wanting to do the recycling. And so that's when curbside with the little buckets showed up. And then now we do the Herbies. But because we had all this extra room down here, that not having to have the huge roll-offs that got filled up and had to be hauled off all the time, we still do styrofoam. And over the course of a year, we will send 3 to 4 50-foot, 3-foot trailers, semi-trailers, back to Dart. I don't know how many of you people even know we do this, but it's fun. It's once a quarter, and you kind of meet.
22nd.
Oh yeah, the
This month.
22nd this month. So, we're still collecting styro, and last time the trailer was ready to go, we couldn't even get it all in the trailer. We still had some in the back of the barn. I know, because I helped load the trailer. But, and it's actually kind of fun. Like I say, you get to know your neighbors, you can volunteer to help us collect. We inspect to make sure that we give Dart back what they will take from us and not be So, I mean, down through the years, over 25 years, I mean, I've done everything from beat the streets to keep the landfills out, to keeping stuff out of the landfills and going back to where it can be used, either with recycling of everything but styrofoam down to styrofoam. And last 2 years, Dart took 1 million pounds of styrofoam back and reused it. Well, you know how light styrofoam is. Can you imagine the mountain that did not go into a landfill? When I helped the guys load the trailer a couple weeks ago, they said they were well on track to be over 1 million pounds this year.
That's all staying out of landfills.
So, yeah, it's all staying out of landfills. So, you know, it looks like we don't do anything sometimes around here. We're behind the scenes doing things. And as, I didn't catch your name, sir, that said that more people need to be at the meetings.
It's working.
We've said that for years. But, you know, like unless something like this happens, come on out. Find out what we're doing, what we're up to. If you want to help with the styro collection, sometimes we even have people just all of a sudden show up with a box of donuts for us that we don't ask for, but here
Or
they
eat.
come, you know, because they appreciate us doing
I
it.
will probably have a whole slew of donuts.
So if you ever want to volunteer just to come down and see what it's all about and how, you know, it's kind of fun. 4 hours on a Saturday morning, once a quarter, or even if you don't do it once a quarter, once a year.
We'd love to have you.
We'd love to have you.
The
So-
funnest one is January because it's either 2 below or 20 above. It's never.
Yeah, you wear your snowmobiles, that's for sure.
Thank you, Brenda.
That's all I got to say.
All right. At this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjourn our meeting, and if anyone has any questions, the health officials are here, engineers are here for a second, and please feel free, but we are now adjourned. Thank you for being here, all of you.
Thank you very much.